Okay, on this problem, they're giving us a weighted voting system right here, and they're saying in the coalition, P2, P3, P4, which players are critical? So how do we figure that out? Well, this is player one. Oops, let me try to do a better job on that. So this is player one, player two, player three, and player four. And this is the quota, what it takes to pass anything in this system. Okay, so player 2, 3, and 4 are these three. So the 8, the 4, and the 1. Let me bring it down here. 8, 4, and 1. That team. So first off, does that team have enough to pass anything? Yeah. 8 plus 4 plus 1. If they all get together, that's 13 votes. And what does it take to pass anything? 13 votes. In this system, the quota, what it takes to, the quota is what it takes to pass anything. The quota in this system is 13 votes required to pass anything, any law or decision. So this group, player 2, 3, and 4, which has 8, 4, 1, 8, 4, 1, 13 votes, they have just barely enough to pass anything. So then the question is, who on this team is critical? Well, what does it mean to be critical? Critical. You are critical if you drop out, the team loses. That's what it means to be critical. You're critical. So think about a player on a sports team. If that player doesn't show up, the team loses without him or without her. Then that player is critical. That's what it means to be critical. If you don't show up, the team loses without you. They've got to have you. You're critical. Okay, so let's take the 8, 4, 1, and let's see who's critical. Let's start with the 8. If the 8 doesn't show up, so let me that right here. 8, if 8 drops out, they only have 4 plus 1, 5, 5. It takes 13, they lose. So 8 is critical. Does that make sense? If 8 drops out, they only have 4 and 1, 5, they lose because it takes 13 to pass anything. So 8 is critical. If 8 drops out, they lose. Let's try the next one. So let's go back to 8, 4, and 1 again. 8, 4, and 1. This time, let's say the 4 drops out. 4 drops out. Only have 8 plus 1, which is 9 votes. Again, they lose. Why? Because it takes, remember, it takes 13 to pass anything. That's the quota, 13 votes. So they lose. So, funny S there. So 4 is critical. You've got to have the 4. If the 4 drops out, the team loses. That's what it means to be critical. Last one. How about, again, 8, 4, 1. This time, let's drop out the 1. Could the 1 actually be critical? The 1 drops out. So then we only have 8 plus 4 is 12. Do they lose? Yeah, they do. It takes 13 to pass anything. They lose. So even 1 is critical to this team. Even the 1 is critical to this team. They've got to have the 1 on this team. They've got to have the 1. So all 3 are critical, right? So the 4 is critical, the 8 is critical, even the 1 right here, is critical. So the 8, 4, so that's player 1, player 2, and player, oh, wait, not 1, 2, and 3, but it's 2, 3, and 4, huh? It's player 2, player 3, and player 4. All of those are critical on that team, aren't they? They're all needed. On that last one, if it only took 12 votes, if the quota was only 12, then if with the 1 dropped out, the 8 and 4 would have still had enough, and so the 1 would not have been critical. But the quota was 13. They need to have the 1. So all 3 of those players, player 2, 3, and 4, all 3 of them, the 8, 4, and 1, which is players 2, 3, and 4, 2, 3, and 4, are all critical. And so there we go.